I am sitting here next to the most popular Brit in America, next to the 11th Doctor. Daniel Hannan is pronounced. Am I pronouncing it right? From the European Parliament, an interesting institution. Daniel, you are very popular in this room, but I get the feeling you are not all that popular among some of the members of the European Parliament. Could you explain to my readers and listeners why?
Well, it's Daniel, not Daniel.
Daniel, I'm sorry.
As in, you know, mini tekel, you bust it, Daniel.
Yeah, Daniel. Well, my son is Daniel. I should know better.
Well, because, as they see it, I'm trying to put them all out of a job. And you know what? They're right. I mean, I'm trying to put myself out of a job as well, but that isn't any consolation to them. The European Parliament has no legitimacy. Its turnouts are very low. Very few people feel European. It's expensive. It's an indulgence. We would be much better off as cooperating nations rather than in a single political union. And as your Upton Sinclair once observed, it's very difficult to make a man understand something when his salary depends upon his not understanding it. So that's not going to be a popular message there.
Now, one of the things I've argued is that one of the great gifts to the world that came from England was British common law. Now, when you look at the way the European Parliament is constructed, because English common law empowers the people and gives the ability for the people to be empowered, even after post-colonial things. Doesn't the European Parliament do the opposite? At least that's my perception of it.
I mean, we take things for granted. We all do, if it's familiar. You know, common law is an amazing concept, and nobody really knows how it got started or why. You think about this extraordinary revolutionary idea that the law doesn't come from the government, that the law was already there, and the government is beneath the law, not above it. Right? Now, where did it come from? We don't know. We inherited it. Our fathers inherited it from theirs. You know, some stage in the Dark Ages, somebody came up with this idea. It was an inherited folk right. We don't know how it came about. But it is more than any other system known to man. It has served to keep people free and keep governments under control. And that's something we have in common, and it is a very precious heritage. And you're right. Every day that we spend in the European Union, we lose part of that patrimony because we're subjected to an alien legal system.
Now, as a general rule, they say the joke in America is once you can vote yourself other people's money, then things go bad. If you have a parliament that can not only vote other people's money, but can vote other people's money from multiple countries, how do you fight that other than...
Well, that's even worse. I mean, the reason that democracy still works, despite what you just said, is because if you make the fiscal units small enough, then people don't actually expropriate each other because they'd be expropriating their immediate community and neighbors. And the genius of the US has been to disperse power, so that this country is treated like a confederation of little tiny states, you know, with separate tax regimes and competing jurisdictions. Great idea. European Union, opposite principle. Never close the union, more centralization of power. So of course it becomes more remote, more socialist, more corrupt, more inefficient. All the problems that you face.
I would almost say, and again I'm asking my opinion and your comment on it, I would almost describe it as feudal, in the sense that you have a feudal system where the elites, so to speak, are extracting tribute from the people below them, and the concept that the people below them would have any... Is that in the... From your encounters in European parliamentarians, and I'll be honest, you were the first member of the European Parliament I've ever met, is that the mindset?
It's an amazing thing, isn't it? I mean, you wouldn't have believed that we could be doing this again. You think about how feudal Europe was before the French Revolution. You know, you had this amazing system, which to our mindset is incomprehensible, where only the little guy paid taxes. You know, the nobility had exemption from paying taxes. From our modern perspective, we look back at that and we think, how could that ever have come about? That only the rich people didn't pay, right? You know what? We have just reinvented that system. What do you think these bank bailouts are about? What do you think this keeping going of the euro is all about? It is all about small businesses, small taxpayers, medium and poor people paying to rescue some very wealthy individuals from the consequences of their bad investments. We've gone back to the kind of pre-French Revolution style of Europe. It's a racket in which money is taken from everybody else to pay for a handful of lucky people who are inside the system.
Now, have they tried to remove you? Have they tried to get rid of you in the European Parliament?
Well, happily, that's up to my constituents, who, of course, have that. They could revoke their decision tomorrow, but as yet they haven't. If they found some way that they could get rid of me, I'm sure they would. But up until now, it's been up to Southeast England.
Now, for those who might not be familiar with you, is there a particular website where people can go and get more information about what you discuss and what you propose?
I am a fellow blogger, and I have a blog hosted by the Daily Telegraph. The short way of getting there is hannan.co.uk, hannan.co.uk.
Well, thank you very, very much for giving me some of your time today, and I know that there is a long line of bloggers who can't wait to speak with you. Thank you again.